Welcome back, Benchwarmers, to another 2020 NFL season prediction video because I have nothing better to do. I'm not exactly in quarantine or anything. I just don't do anything for anything. I don't know. I work and I come home and have nothing to do. And yet I still don't have a consistent upload schedule. Anyway, today we're going over the Cleveland Browns, third place in the AFC North. In my prediction here, they could be better. They could be worse. You don't know. That's why it's a prediction, and I will be wrong. Because I'm always wrong about something, I don't know. So the way I'm doing this is I'm going to go I'm going to go 4 games at a time. First, I'm going to go over what I think of how the team improved or lack thereof, and then I'm going to go 4 games at a time with an explanation on why I picked who I picked to win. So, without any delay, let's get on with it. The Cleveland Browns definitely improved by firing Freddie Kitchens alone. I never liked that hire. I thought Greg Williams, I think that was the defensive coordinator's name, who took over after Hugh Jackson was fired. He should have been the head coach, in my opinion. He's the one that kept that team in line. This is a team of personalities that needs a hard ass. Freddie Kitchens was too much of a nice guy. I think Stefanski can be that hard ass. I think it'll take a little bit of time and maybe a year or two to really get this team going, but I think they can get it going under Stefanski if they keep him for longer than a year. But that's kind of what I think of the Browns, showing that they've improved, and the roster's improved too, but just not really notably anything. Any super notable? They've improved mostly just by getting a new coaching staff. So the first 4 games for the Cleveland Browns, the improved Cleveland Browns that I think are going to be much better. Yikes. I swear I do think they're better, I swear. It's just a rough schedule for them. The Ravens, gonna be really, 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 really good this year. They're gonna go 12-4 even with my predictions. Um, the Bengals, they're going to beat the Bengals here early on. Joe Burrow's going to find his footing. Browns defense is pretty good. Browns offense with Nick Chubb being the focal point with Stefanski's offense, because that's how he made Kirk Cousins good, was by making Dalvin Cook the focal point. Once they figured that out, play action opened up, and Kirk Cousins was actually doing well because, you know, people were worried about Dalvin Cook and not him. Same thing could happen in Baker Mayfield, except I think Baker's a better quarterback, and they have better weapons than the Vikings do on paper. But, oh yeah, they picked up Austin Hooper. That's right. I forgot about that. So they got OBJ, who I think he's overrated, but still really good. They got Jarvis Landry. They got Nick Chubb. They got David Njoku, who I think could be a decent tight end. And they got Austin Hooper in free agency, who was lovely for me in fantasy football. So I liked him. And then the Redskins are going to kind of take it away from the Browns here. I think the Redskins aren't going to be one of the worst teams this year. I think they're going to be the worst in their division, but that's just because the East is it's going to be a little bit tougher this year for them. They're more of a yeah. I don't want to say that the East is a tough division, but I'll get into that when I get to that division. But the Redskins, I think, whether they pick Dwayne Haskins or Kyle Allen, I think they can have a decent offense that'll be able to keep up with the Browns' defense, because their defense isn't lights out like the Ravens or Steelers' defense. It's a good defense, not a great defense. But I think the Redskins' defense is going to also be good and be better than the Browns' offense at this point in the season. It's early on. They're still fresh in a new system, and with COVID and everything, they haven't been able to do the training camps so far from when I'm recording this. So they're not learning the system hands-on yet. I'm sure they're going over the playbooks in virtual meetings or even on their own, and I'm sure they're all training, but they're not quite there. And then they're going to lose to the Cowboys as well for a similar reason. But the Cowboys have a much better offense than the Redskins. I think the Cowboys are going to have a worse defense than the Redskins, but a much better offense. They got so many weapons on that offense that it rivals the Browns' star power. Amari Cooper, he was, when he wasn't hurt in the last part of the season, he was really good for my fantasy team as well. Ezekiel Elliott has been kind of hot and cold a little bit. He's been inconsistent to me because he has not been the lights out guy he was his rookie year. I mean, the second year, he got suspended. Then last year he's I don't know. Ezekiel, he's still a top running back, so they got that. They got Gallup. Now they stole CeeDee Lamb. I just think they're gonna have an unbelievable offense, even whether it's Dak or Dalton. All right, next four, starting with week 5. I have that right? Yes. Okay, seriously, guys, they're better than they were last year, I promise. But they're gonna beat the Colts, which might surprise a lot of people. I think it's going to be a big upset, but I think they're going to be able to do it. And the reason is the Colts have a very good defense. But I think this might, despite the next 2 games that I have, I think this might be where they start to kind of pick up the playbook a little bit better. And Nick Chubb is going to do really well against the Colts defense. I think Nick Chubb is going to be the reason they win. But then they lose to the Steelers and then the Bengals. Now, they lose to the Steelers because the Steelers are overall a better, well-rounded team. They're pissed off about what happened with Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph, so they want their quote-unquote revenge. And Big Ben's back. They got a couple more weapons there on offense. Their defense was already lights out. They're just gonna. They're not gonna sturb comp. Jesus, they're not gonna curb stomp the Browns. Kind of like someone curb stomped my brain when I tried to say that, apparently. But they're going to beat them. And the Bengals, they're going to barely squeak this one out. The Browns' offense might struggle a little bit just because sometimes that just happens. And I think the Bengals' offense might start to pick things up a little bit here. And Joe Burrow has some decent weapons on offense there. I think their offense is not going to be the problem. It's going to be the defense. And I think that the Bengals' offense is going to be able to do enough to keep up with the Browns and then possibly last minute field goal win the game. And then the Browns are going to come back and beat the Raiders. The Raiders are going to. I think the Raiders are going to take another year to get good again. Just because moving to a whole other city can sometimes really take it out of a team. I know it didn't really happen with the Chargers because the year they moved, they didn't have a stadium, and they still made it to the divisional round to get, spanked by the Patriots the first year they moved to LA. But I just think back to when the Rams moved, mostly. I mean, I get that they already have a brand new shiny stadium, but I don't know. I think moving to Vegas is going to impair them a little bit, at least for the first year. And then the next 4, they got a week 9 bye week, and I really like that. You know my stance on that. It's pretty obvious at this point. And now they have a better record for these next 4 because they're going 3-1 because they have a bye week a week 9. Now they're going to beat the Texans because they're a more well-rounded team. Texans offense is going to be nice because I love Deshaun Watson. I really do. I'm naming my fantasy team this year after Deshaun Watson. Even though it's not the most flattering of names, I love puns. I won't say it though. But I love Deshaun Watson. I think even without Hopkins, which I'm so sad because I loved Watson to Hopkins. I really did. But he's got Randall Cobb, who is he's a great security blanket. And then he's got Brandon Cooks, which if he is healthy, he's really good, but health is a definite concern. Same thing with Will Fuller. I think their running game is meh, but their offense is going to do. Deshaun Watson's going to be able to keep that offense alive enough so they're not one of the bottom feeders of the league, but they're probably going to be middle of the pack. So the Browns are going to be a little better on offense, and just I don't trust their defense. I don't trust the Texans defense. And then the Eagles are going to take it against the Browns. That one could go either way. Again, depends on injuries, all that stuff. Trying to incorporate that, whatever. And then the Browns are going to beat the Jags because the Jags aren't good this year. Their offense will probably be okay. I don't trust their defense. Next four. That's what, week 13? I have a piece of paper I'm looking at. Wow, how professional. So we got that. Really? How's that? Oh, I guess so. And then that. Okay, so Titans are beating them because they're going to be able to just run it down their throat. They're going to get up early, and they're just the Browns are going to play catch up, and the Titans defense also could be lights out again this year, and they're going to be able to contain the Browns offense. Then the Browns are going to beat the Ravens because it's hard to sweep a division rival. It is really hard to do it, and I mean, it could happen. I could definitely see the Ravens doing it, but I think the Browns are going to be able to because I think Nick Chubb's going to be able to run on them. And then the Giants are going to take it because I think Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Golden Tate, they got some good weapons there on offense. Their defense sucks. It's going to be a bit of a shootout, I think. Maybe not super high scoring, but I think it'll definitely be an offensive game. And then they're going to beat the Jets. I don't know what to think of the Jets. I really don't. I, I I'd like to think that they'd finally be good, but I just don't know. But then the Browns are going to finish off the season just trying to be at least 500, and they'll succeed. They'll beat the Steelers. I think the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers are going to be fighting for their lives here, for the playoff lives possibly. And the Browns are. I mean, at this point, they're out of the playoffs already. Depending on how the, I still am confused about how the playoffs are going to be determined, but I think that the Browns are going 8-8 this year, which is an improvement over the last 2 years, because that'll be their best record in what, 5 years? They went 15-1, or not 15-1, 1-15, 0-16. Then it was one. No, man, what was it? 7-1 or something like that. I don't remember. And then they went 5-9 last year, I think. Was it 5-9? I think so. And then they'll go 8-8 this year. Be their best record yet, and then they can only just build on top of that for years to come under Stefanski. I think that was a good hire for them. So, with that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. I will be doing the final AFC North video next, which will be the Cincinnati Bengals, the last place team. The team that was supposed to improve so much this year because they got Burrow. But I'll go over that in the next video. See ya.